Hello, Inspired Nation. This is PK Kalaku, and welcome to Inspired Entrepreneur. I'm so excited today about my guest, Zaheer Cassim from One Way Up Productions. Zaheer, welcome to Inspired Entrepreneur. It's good to have you here.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
It's a pleasure. Well, I think let's start by talking about who Zaheer is. You know, where were you born? What kind of a family did you grow up in?
Okay, so I was born in 1985. I was born in Durban, but very young we moved to Johannesburg.
So you're a true Durbanite.
I was there for a couple of months. So I'm a Joburg boy.
Oh, yeah?
And then I grew up in Mayfair, and then we moved to Houghton later.
Oh, yeah?
And then once I finished high school, I had the opportunity to go study overseas.
Yes.
So
where was this?
I did my undergrad, I finished off at Berkeley in California, and my master's I finished off in New York in Columbia University.
Oh, interesting.
So, and I came back home to South Africa.
Is this you're studying? Is it marketing? Is it digital content related?
Well, no, actually, my studying I did a BA, so I did PIS, which is a combination of politics and economics, and I also did communications.
Really?
Yeah, and then I came back to South Africa, where I worked at a radio station and decided I wanted to do journalism, and somehow found my way back into journalism and went back to the States to do a master's in journalism.
Yes.
So, you know, I was just going with the flow.
So then how do you move from politics and economics to journalism? What intrigued, what inspired the move?
Well, I think if you're studying politics and economics and you don't want to be a politician or economist, the next best thing would be to report on it. So journalism seemed kind of fun. Specifically radio journalism. That's really where I fell in love with journalism, because if you ever work in a radio station, everyone's kooky, everyone's weird, and they're just the most lovable people, and I really thought that's where I was going to spend most of my days. But when I studied masters, I got into the whole digital world, and then, you know, went down another road, I guess.
Oh, well, it's interesting that you ended up being in journalism, and then now you own a business that does content creation, which is mostly digital. I'm sure you can agree. And digital is a new thing. I don't know, maybe in South Africa, but in countries like California, where you studied, funny enough, there's Silicon Valley there. So there's a lot of tech companies. Did you get any exposure of the environment while you were studying there?
Well, I think digital might be new, but it's really, what are we doing? We're telling stories.
Yes.
So when I studied journalism,
telling stories. Yes.
It's effectively, at the end of the day, we're telling stories, right? Now, you know, maybe we were telling stories in the past. You know, we had a book, then we had, 48-minute documentaries. And now we're telling a story in 1 minute using Snapchat videos. Now we're telling a story. A tweet.
Yes.
Now we're telling a story with an image and a provocative caption.
Absolutely.
So I think we still telling stories. It's just how we tell those stories are changing. It's changing every day. So I think what was interesting about the States, I mean, yes, it moves at a very fast pace, but accepting that things are going to change, learning that things are going to change, and they're going to change quickly, and learning that I can either be part of it, so I can jump in, get dirty, make mistakes, or you can step out and be a hermit, which there's nothing wrong with it, you know. It's just the world will change and you won't.
So One Way Up started in 2012, right? So this is just, you were working as a journalist at different radio stations. So why decide to go to content creation per se? I know if your business does few other services also, but why content creation?
Well, the history behind One Way Up is quite interesting. So after studying at Columbia, I worked for Al Jazeera, so I worked in Qatar, I worked in New York, and I came back to South Africa and I was looking for a job. Granted, I was very impatient. I thought I was going to walk in to South Africa, get a job like that, and move on in life. And it took me a couple of weeks, couple of months. I was looking. It was difficult. And
submitting resumes there and there.
You're submitting resumes. You're getting response, but everyone's slow. Everyone's slow in this country.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine, the pace in New York is very fast compared to here.
You send an email, you want a response within an hour.
Yes.
And, not in a week or,
Yes.
months later.
Yes.
It's, unheard of in the States. So I came back and I was looking for a job and I was getting impatient. And I opened up the Times newspaper and I saw a story about iPads in the township.
Okay,
And I
iPads
said,
in the township.
Yeah, I said, that's a story I can sell. I'll find, I don't know who I'll sell it to, but I can sell it. So I called Apple and I said, listen, I want to shoot this video. And they said, who do you work for? Now, years ago when I was a youngster, I got published with Mail and Guardian.
Yes.
I was like, it's
When
not.
you were a youngster, you mean when you were in high school?
Oh,
Tertiary
when I was tertiary level.
Okay.
But like 4 or 5 years earlier, I got published in the Mail and Guardian.
All right.
So I said, now I'm a freelancer for the Mail and Guardian because I had worked for them.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if it was 5 years ago. So they said, okay, come, let's with Mail and Guardian. Ooh, we love that. Let's
So
take it
hold
to
on,
the
right there. When people ask, who do you work for? I mean, they wanted to associate you
With the
a
brand,
particular brand.
Yeah.
And Mail and Guardian being a well-known brand, like, okay,
Yeah, why not?
cool, you can come. Let's see what we can do.
I said I'm a freelancer for them, which was technically honest because I had freelanced for them when I was young, and I was a freelancer. So freelancer means you work for anyone.
Yes.
So, anyways, I went to the townships, shot this video, and I then contacted the Mail and Guardian. And I said, I got this great story, and I had some luck on my side because they just wrote a piece about technology in the classroom, and this video was a perfect fit.
It came at the right time.
Right there.
Yes.
But I did the work.
Yes.
Okay, so Mail and Guardian said, great, we're going to buy it. So this came out on a Wednesday.
Yes.
On a Sunday morning, I get an email from Apple.
Yes.
And you respond back, and the lady calls me up, and she says, Zaheer, we saw your video. We need some content created. Can you help us out?
Yes.
I'm like, done. Yes, 100%. So she's like, do you have a company name? So at the time, I was staying at home. I was unemployed.
Yes.
I was, basically on my parents' couch, using their resources. I was like, life couldn't get worse
And
than
that
this.
can be cool. That can be easy for you. I mean, that's not the life you envisioned.
That's how everyone starts, right?
Mm.
And I thought to myself, there's only one direction from here, and it's up.
Yes.
So when she asked me what was your name, I think within what's your company name, within a couple of seconds I said One Way Up Productions. And that was it. That's how the company started.
On the spot, 1 year production.
That was it.
Lovely stuff. But you mentioned something that it reminds me of the great Les Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know him, the speaker from California also, I think. He says it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have it than to have an opportunity and not be prepared.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that there's this article about apples in the township. You approach Apple. Okay, you go through that vetting process. They said, okay, you go do your thing in the township. Then you contact Mail and Guardian after. So now putting them together, whereas at the time, you had no direct affiliations with them. I think that's a great mindset of an entrepreneur because you actually make things happen for yourself.
I think especially today, especially with the digital age, a lot of people, and I understand, a lot of people say, how are we going to make money out of this at the end of the day? And it's a worthwhile question. I'm not denying it.
Yes.
But if you look at Facebook, if you look at Twitter, if you look at what people are using, create something that people are going to use. Solve a problem. Relevant content.
Yes.
Solve a problem. If enough people, buy into it, you can commoditize it.
Yes.
But if your mindset is from the start, how am I going to make money?
Yes.
I think you're missing the point.
You want to monetize before even starting.
That's it, right? Look at Facebook. Yeah. If Mark Zuckerberg, said, if you in order to use Facebook, we're going to charge you, who would have joined Facebook?
No one.
So
absolutely.
I think that I was just wanting to get my name out there.
Yes.
And still today, I take a couple of risks. Like I do things. No clue if we're going to make money or not. But it's a risk you're willing to take.
Absolutely.
And
it's business, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're solving a problem, then chances are, and the bigger the problem, the more opportunity there is.
True.
Chances are, if people, like I said, buy into it, later on you can make money.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that can be effort that you have initially, it has to come as a byproduct. Making money is a byproduct of solving a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I can understand, look, I come from a very fortunistic background.
Yes.
I have the support and the resources,
Yes.
especially now, to take more risks.
Yes.
You're 21 years old, you just finished varsity, you're 18, 19, you just finished
Hopefully
high
have
school.
kids as well.
Yeah, for kids now. But I'm saying you're 18, 19, you just finished high school, you don't necessarily have the resources to go take risks like this.
Yes.
So I can understand that especially in a country like South Africa, that it's difficult.
Yes.
It's difficult for young and specifically black people
Yes.
to be successful entrepreneurs just because of all the other baggage that that comes with it. So
Even if you do become successful, whether it's an entrepreneur or maybe a doctor, engineer, there's what you call black tax. You still have to deal with the baggage from the family because you're not only focusing on yourself, and that can hinder you from moving forward into doing the things that you actually want to do by yourself.
100%. I mean, the first thing you want to do, is when you make money, is you want to start saving.
Yes.
But my understanding is you have to give back to your families.
Yes.
You have to pay for education for other people.
Yes.
So it is a legacy problem in this country
Yes.
that I think needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. Let's hope that one day we'll get to solve the problem. So, one way up production, I'm sure there are different players in your space. What is the state of the industry right now in South Africa compared to the rest of the world, in your view?
Look, South Africa's had a thriving advertising industry. It's, 10 years ago, I would even say they had a thriving movie industry. Not so much today. The movie industry has slowed down quite a bit. Yeah. We have great minds, great marketing minds in this country. Excuse me. Yeah. But things have slowed down. It's slowed down because South Africa's economy is slowing down.
Absolutely.
That's not
it's
to say
hardly ever growing. It's hardly ever growing. I mean, 0.0. I mean, we can't even count it.
Yeah. I think what you're seeing, I work predominantly with a lot of corporates. You're seeing your big corporates doing well. Yeah, doing well, but they still move up. They still move with quite a momentum. I do a lot of work with nonprofits as well.
Yes.
And that's because I really want nonprofits to do well, and
yes.
I see myself as an active citizen.
So it's part of your giving back to the community by doing it.
Well, I mean, we do make money out of nonprofits, but there's you don't charge a nonprofit what you charge your corporate.
Absolutely, don't.
But when you work for a nonprofit, you get a real sense of I'm doing something for change. I'm doing something great here. With meaning.
Yeah.
So, and I particularly with my background in journalism, I really enjoy that kind of work.
Yes.
But I'm saying in general in South Africa, I think you're seeing a lot, and this year in particular, you're seeing a lot of big companies as well just tighten their belts. I think a couple of months ago, Cyril Ramaphosa became president.
Yes.
Everybody was excited. There was a lot of energy. There was a lot of money in the economy.
Yes.
Because people were more optimistic.
Gain strength.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I think now looking at a couple of months down the line, people are not so optimistic anymore, and there's still this looming 27% unemployment, and there's still no solution from the government on how we're going to solve this.
Yes.
And I think that's put a lot of doubt into the market. There's a couple of other things. So you can see the knock-on effects on industry in general.
Yes.
However, saying that, I still believe there's a lot of opportunity. Today, it's not about being a South African company. It's about being more of an international company. So my challenge in my business is not to think, okay, my borders are South Africa. My challenge is to think, how do I get into other continents?
Yes.
How do I get into other countries?
Yes.
So if it's not doing well in South Africa, things are booming in Uganda.
Yes.
How can I start helping out?
In Nairobi, yes.
Yeah. How do we start infiltrating those markets?
Yes.
So that's what I'm now pondering. Well, that's where I'm planning to be.
I see. So how do you think content creation can be useful, especially by small business owners, let's say in South Africa or the rest of the world? How do you think they can use it to their advantage to grow their business or access markets?
I mean, Facebook is one of them. Everybody uses Facebook now. I mean,
Yes.
my dad uses Facebook, and he's quite elderly. And what I think, aside from Facebook, there's Instagram, there's other social media platforms, but I'll use Facebook as an example. If people are looking for your content, Facebook has a back end where you can access a pixel, and these pixels can link into your website. And so, for example, let's just say somebody comes to One Way Up Productions.
Your page now,
my
it's now
page.
your Facebook page.
Or they Google Video Production Johannesburg,
Yes.
and they find my company, and they go back to Facebook. Facebook will send them messages about One Way Up Productions,
Okay.
or other video productions. So let's just say I'm looking for a camera, I'm looking at that on the internet, and Facebook now learns this information. It's kind of scary, it's like Big Brother, right?
Yeah.
They know exactly what you're doing.
With a hidden
They know
camera.
exactly what you're searching.
Yeah. Oh yes. So this pixel,
Yeah.
is it a paid for service?
Yes, look, you do the pixel itself, no. But in order to use the Facebook marketing, yes, it's paid for a service. But the tutorials where small businesses can learn about these things, if you're a small business in, for example, Jeppystown,
Yes.
you can target just Jeppystown, and
Geolocation.
and that's your
Yes.
demographic, right?
Yes.
Which is perfect.
Absolutely.
So I think small businesses have a lot to benefit from Facebook marketing,
Yes.
Instagram and Twitter. But saying that, it's a lot of energy. And secondly, Facebook, it's great to market your products, but people complain on Facebook. So if you're gonna have a Facebook,
When you're too much on their face?
well, if let's just say you somebody does something poorly for your business,
Yes.
you must be willing to understand that if you're going to go down the social media platform,
Yes.
and base a lot of your advertising on that,
Yes.
if somebody says something negative, you need to respond to that person. You need to respond within the next, I'm going to say 12 hours, but small businesses, I'll give you a little bit of leeway 24 hours.
Is this because now this complaint is on a public
On a
platform?
public platform.
Yeah.
And you want to deal with it. And I think one thing with social media that people sometimes, small businesses aren't aware of, is you're putting yourself out there. And people love to complain.
Yes. Of course, I mean, it's natural.
It's part of I think it's part of our culture. You need the social media accounts today. It's just the way the world is.
Yeah, you really can't survive without them. I mean, it's a digital world.
And you need to be active. And you need to be if you can't be on top of your social media accounts, you need somebody who can be.
Absolutely. So tell me about the growth then since 2012 at One Way. How has it been when you look back today? Are you proud of what you have achieved? It might not be enough, of course, but do you think you're getting somewhere as far as the industry that you're operating in is concerned?
I think for the first time, I feel like the company now, 6 years long, has a reputation, has good reputation.
Yes.
And that makes life easier. So I think we passed those initial teething phases. Am I happy with the growth? No. I don't think any entrepreneur is ever happy with the growth that they have in their companies. They want more,
It's
right?
one way up,
Exactly.
no any other way.
Yeah. So what I think is I've grown as a person, I've grown as a boss. The company itself has grown, yes. The content, the services have grown. The clients list has grown.
Yes.
But I still feel, and maybe I'm hard on myself, but I feel like I've fallen short.
Yes.
I think the next evolution would be for, a big creative agency building or company where we bring in all these young, hungry, inspiring filmmakers, artists. I always wanted to see that. That's was the vision I always had, right? To bring everybody to one building.
Sort of a hub.
Hub, right?
Find everything.
And you make a network and you connect and things go right, things go wrong. And I don't. When Herman Mashaba came in, I always wanted to actually meet him and say,
He came in. What do you mean came in?
when he came as the
mayor of Johannesburg. Okay, yes.
When Herman Mashaba came in, I always actually wanted to meet him. I wrote a proposal.
Yes.
I sent it. I don't know if anybody ever read it, right?
Yes.
Where I said, they have got this beautiful thing in Paris, in France. They've taken an old train station.
Yes.
And they've turned it into like the tech hub. So my idea was, just give me any building. And the building I like the most is the old bus depot in Newtown. I don't know if you know that.
The abandoned one?
Yeah.
Like the walls are about to fall at any time?
Yes, that's the one, right? And put a little bit of money into it, fix it up, but make that a free and open space for entrepreneurs to just work. Just come. Free wine.
No red tape.
No red tape.
Everybody is welcome to work in.
You have a business, you walk in, you try something, you go bust. At least you had free internet, free coffee, a workspace, a place where you could network. So that's still my goal.
Yes.
I've given up on getting somebody else to fund it. You've got to fund it yourself. And we are now moving to that direction.
Yes.
But it'll probably take another 6-7 years to get there.
And I suppose your reason to approach Herman Mashaba as an entrepreneur yourself, you thought he's an entrepreneur himself, he would understand better because he's not really too political, he comes from a business world. So he'll be open to the idea.
I'm going to stay away from politics. But like you said, Herman Mashaba is a successful businessman.
Yes.
And I feel that Joburg is the New York of South Africa, right?
Absolutely.
If you want to make money, you come to Joburg,
yes.
right? And I feel that there's so much opportunities in Johannesburg. But again, if you're young, if you don't have the resources, if you've got ideas but you don't have the network, where do you find it? Where do you get that? And if there's a hub, if there's a center where you're like, listen, I've got a great idea, and if I can just get there, and I can bump into someone, if somebody buys into my idea.
It's right in the middle of Johannesburg. So it's not in Sandton somewhere.
Exactly. Stay away from Sandton.
Sandton
I've got clients there, but the buildings are grotesque. I mean, they're too big. The traffic's horrible. Who wants to go to Sandton now? Maybe call me a bit of a dreamer, but I really like this notion of Johannesburg being the epicenter still of the city. I think we need that. When I was in New York, I used to go for these pitching sessions, and I used to just sit in the crowd and listen. So people would stand there, they'd pitch an idea. You don't know who's sitting in the crowd.
Who's listening? You have no idea.
You have 1 minute to pitch.
1 minute, not
1 minute. No, one.
60 seconds.
60 seconds. You pitch
to stage your story.
Stage your story. People ask questions. At the end of that 1 minute, you can get $1 million.
Just like that.
Look, $1 million is not a lot in America.
Yeah, of course not.
And you've got a minute. Somebody likes your idea. They'll ask you a couple of questions. They say, come to my office the next day. You've got an angel investor. You've got funds to start your business. Why don't we have that in South Africa? Why aren't it's not government's responsibility, but where's that venture capitalism money that exists all over the world?
So talking about it, are you saying that in South Africa you don't have too many VCs that venture capital is investing in maybe startups in techs?
I think we do have venture capitalists, but it's so hard to access them. Whereas there should be a platform where entrepreneurs could go and they could just rattle off their ideas. Look, it can get stolen.
Yes.
That you're going to have to face, right?
It's reality.
Yeah, it's reality. I had a show for a TV idea. So, I went there, I got them to sign an NDA. The company signed it. Never heard from them again. 6 months later, it's on television. It's one of the best shows.
You're sitting on your couch like, wow.
You're like, oh, that was the one.
That's my show.
So those pieces of paper don't really even mean much these days. But there has to be that opportunity for young people to go out and pitch those ideas.
A platform, yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to your show, which is great.
Let's hope that in the future, for example, City of Joburg, someone in there in economic development, the Department of will suddenly open their eyes. Because, let's be realistic, there's so many abandoned buildings here in town that can be used to the betterness of our country and especially of our youth. So why not?
You look at the institutions built to help small businesses. IDC, NYDA.
Yeah.
Firstly, go onto their website. It's hard to navigate. I've got a degree from the States, and I can't navigate these things. The paperwork, the paperwork is horrific. Then you got to call someone. You call them, they don't answer. They're there for 1 hour a day, and if you don't call them that hour, you've got no luck.
True.
And you got to have a meeting. The meetings in Pretoria, from Johannesburg to get there. I'm just saying, they haven't made it easy. And I've got resources. I can jump in a car and drive. And I imagine you want to get into a taxi, get to Pretoria at a certain time to meet this person who can't even answer from 9 to 5, and they work for us.
So imagine going there then with your last money as a kid from Soweto.
That's exactly
or Alex. It's a nightmare.
So and I've spoken to other entrepreneurs about this here. You see people. I mean, you'll see the IDC. They'll fund stupid things. They'll fund these big businesses that provide 10 to 100 jobs, spend millions of rands. Whereas you could take that money, you can give it to hawkers. You see, there was a study done.
Yes.
If I give a loan specifically to females, female entrepreneurs, the rate of return is much better, and you actually see a trickle down because a lot of those women look after kids, other people, and so your whole country will improve. Why aren't they giving loans to those women? Why aren't they giving loans to small businesses, proper small businesses? Instead, you're seeing the same people getting loans. I mean, I'm not going to knock her. She's a fantastic entrepreneur. But who's the lady who runs that big magazine? Her name slips me on mind.
Kanye Global. Of Luminance also.
Yeah, now she gets a loan to go open up Luminance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? She has a network.
Yes.
She has access.
Absolutely.
Why are they giving her a loan? In a country where 27% of the population is unemployed, we're giving loans to people can buy luxury items in a store in a mall in the north. Come on, does anybody see the absurdity in this here?
Welcome to South Africa.
I honestly don't. If you're an entrepreneur, don't wait for government.
No, don't. I mean, I think it's always best to wherever you are, just start there, see what you can do. One thing a day. I mean, like you mentioned, you never know who's watching or you never know who you will meet in the future. But fast forward then, Zaheer, what are your plans for One Way Up Productions?
I think I touched on it. It's basically creating this agency, but having an arm of the agency where people can come and pitch their ideas. So that's my next 5-year plan.
All right.
Getting a building that's accessible to people, and creating this hub, and at least trying something different.
Yes.
That's one. I've invested in other companies as well. So later on this year, we're gonna launch a new technology. I'm not allowed to say more than that.
Yes.
But
we'll find out later.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But you'll find out later, and if you want to talk about that later, we can as well.
No problem. Yeah.
But so that's the second idea, and then I'm dabbling in 1 or 2 other things. So I think 2018 for me is a big year to try a lot of things.
Yes.
And to really go for it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we try something else.
Oh, lovely stuff. So tell me, where do people find you online if they want to know more about One Way Production or yourself? What are you up to?
I mean, the easiest is the website, onewayproductions.com. Twitter, it's Mr. Cassim. Facebook, One Way Up. Ironically, I've got 2 young kids. They're obsessed with the cell phone, so I'm now trying to cut back on my information intake just because.
What do you call them again? Millennials?
Well, not even. I mean, I've got 2 little monsters. They're 1.5 and 3. No, the kids are great, but they watch you. They see me on the phone the whole day, right?
Yes.
They see me, just consuming information, and now they want to do that. And as a parent, I'm become so aware of that when we're at home, I'm trying to limit my own television time, my own cell phone time, iPad time, because I don't want my kids to be hooked on this. And my wife says
devices all the time.
My wife says it's inevitable, but Yeah, personally, I just feel like kids need to be outside playing, and
Yes.
if they're too obsessed on cell phones, if they get too much of it, it can't be a good thing.
Oh.
Although I create the content that keeps them on there.
Well, Zaheer, thank you so much for coming to our podcast, Inspired Entrepreneur. It's been very enlightening to know how we can use content creation and other services that your business, for example, provides to grow businesses and access new markets. So we're just going to close now. Thank you so much. This is PK once again. It's been a great pleasure chatting to Zaheer Cassim of One Way Up Productions. Thank you so much. Cheers.